Welcome everyone to Free For All Friday, episode number 19. This week, in honor of the fall season, I thought I would share with you guys my top 6 favorite Halloween movies or horror movies and my top 6 favorite Halloween or horror books. Let's get started right now. If you guys didn't know, I absolutely love reading, and these are 6 of my favorite horror type books. We're going to start it with number 6 being World War Z. Now, World War Z was turned into a movie, but before it was a movie, like many other things, it was a book. This collection of short stories is definitely one that you guys want to read. If you enjoyed the movie, or if you don't like Brad Pitt and you want to read some good stories about zombies, definitely pick up World War Z. Alright, speaking of zombies, coming in at number 5 would be The Walking Dead. Now, if you guys don't want to go out there and pick up every single issue of The Walking Dead, they make it a lot easier by making a compendium. Compendum? I don't know, however you want to pronounce it, but they have compendiums 1, 2, and 3, and they gather all of the Walking Dead issues up until, I believe it's issue 147, but they're like $29 on Amazon. You can buy them used for like $19, and the books, they're like this big. There is a lot of reading to go into those, but they are definitely worth checking out. Okay, so for number 4, we have a Stephen King book that was also turned into a movie, but I don't know, the movie was terrible. I didn't think it matched the book at all, but anyways, the name of the movie, or the name of the book, is called The Mist. It's a story about what really happens when a mythical fog comes rolling in and nobody can see what's in it. It really strikes fear into your heart as to wondering what is in the mist. What can't you see? What lurks in the mist? Number 3 is the Andromeda Strain. Now, this might seem a little dated if you read it, and when they talk about the technology in there, it's a book by Michael Crichton, the same guy that created Jurassic Park, The Lost World, created a couple other, he created Next. There's a bunch of books that this guy wrote, but one of my more favorite books from him is called The Andromeda Strain. Now, this is about a meteor that crashes to Earth and releases some sort of thing from it that causes people's blood to coagulate. And they take this meteor and they go to a secret government facility that has different levels, so they go underground and they try to figure out how to reverse this, how to reverse, this problem that this meteor created of landing and turning everybody's blood solid. And it was really weird because the only 2 people that survived when this meteor crashed were a baby and an old man. So this is an interesting read if you guys like space and you like possible hypothetical situations that could arise from space debris. Number 2, back to Stephen King, is The Shining. If you guys have never seen the movie, I would recommend reading the book before you see the movie. The movie's a classic, the book is even more of a classic. This really gives you an idea of what horror looks like through the eyes of a child. Finally, the number 1 choice for horror book for me. Now, this doesn't mean this is my favorite horror book. I just base this on my life, and I base this on the stories that were provided, and that would be Goosebumps. There are so many different Goosebumps novels. There are so many different ones. There's something that every single person can love. When you're a kid and there's that many of these stories to choose from, it's really a great world that R.L. Stine created that you guys could get lost in. They're not perfect for older people to read, but I've reread a couple of them since, graduating high school. They're still good stories. They still are interesting. They're still pretty funny, and they're still pretty scary when you think about the possibility in these stories. Now that we got the books out of the way, let's talk about my favorite horror or Halloween movies. Coming in at the number 6 spot is a tie between Children of the Corn and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I'm talking about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not the redid MTV version of it. My number 5 horror film is Aliens, or Alien, the original Alien with Sigourney Weaver from the Ghostbusters. This movie is scary because it's futuristic, and we all know that an alien can exist out there that's got like a little head that comes out of its tongue. That's just crazy. And for the number 4 spot, we have Shall we play a game? That's right. I'm talking about Saw. The original Saw, the first Saw that ever came out. Not Saw 7, not Saw 6, not Saw 9.5. I'm talking about Saw 1. The original, locked in the basement bathroom of a building with two people. It was a great movie. It's a little gory. It's a little bit of you want to sit on the edge of your seat, especially the first time that you watch it, because you don't know what is going to happen. But it is definitely worth watching. Speaking of another definitely worth watching movies, this is Silence of the Lambs. Yes, with Hannibal Lecter. He wants your liver served with a side of fava beans. Yes, but Silence of the Lambs, the Jodie Foster, I think that's her name, yeah, Jodie Foster. She was in it? Maybe. Yeah. But anyways, The Silence of the Lambs is really a psychological thriller of a horror film that's really never seen anything come close to it before. This is a whole story that is created by a master puppeteer that is a psychopath, and you are taking for this wild ride as this guy gets released and gets pretty much whatever the hell he wants. My number 2 favorite horror movie. You guys might question this one, but this is the original Blair Witch. The Blair Witch Project. This came out when I was in middle school, I believe. And I did not watch this for a couple of years till after it came out. I remember the first time I saw this on the shelf of Blockbuster. Yes, Blockbuster Video. I'm dating myself a little bit here, but that is okay. There used to be a Blockbuster right down the street here. And this one time in October, it was probably 2 years after the movie came out, my father and I were down there and we picked up a copy of it. And I watched this movie and it scared the crap out of me, and then we just happened to go camping that weekend. So I know a few people in the Boy Scout troop that I was with have seen the movie. So in the middle of the night, me and one of my friends went out and we made the symbol for the Blair Witch, and we hung it from a bunch of the trees to try to scare some of the other people. I don't know, it was just a random story that I thought I'd share with you, but they're also doing a remake of this movie, or a continuing of this movie this year with the Blair Witch 2. I'm going to go check that out, but if you guys haven't seen the first one, you should definitely check that out. Finally, the number 1 spot for horror movies. Where would we be on this list without the true man himself, Michael Myers? No, not this Michael Myers, that Michael Myers. Michael Myers from Halloween. There are so many different Halloween movies, but let's just go back to the original 3. And out of the original 3, let's just go back to the original 1, because that is my favorite. Between the first one and the second one they're great movies. They're really scary, they're suspenseful, and I believe Rob Zombie did an excellent job of remaking Halloween. That is, the original Halloween and Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween are pretty close to each other for me, but you start to lose it when you get to the second movie there, the Rob Zombie remake. I'm not going to go into detail. If you guys have seen the movies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That whole shed scene with Michael Myers towards the end of the second movie. But anyways, that is my list for my top 6 favorite horror or Halloween movies, or my top 6 favorite horror books. If you guys enjoyed anything on the list, or if you guys like anything on the list, let me know by commenting down below what was your favorite thing that I mentioned. Of course, I couldn't do this top 6 horror movies or Halloween movies without including something for my mother, and that is It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Now this movie right here, being a kid, this was my favorite Halloween movie, and the stories surrounding this movie are definitely worth talking about, because every single year, you have to remember, this was the 90s. There was a video store, there's a couple video stores around that had maybe 2, 3 different copies of this on VHS, and every single year, Halloween would come around, and we would go out and try to find this movie, and we'd never be able to find it. They'd never rerun it on TV, or if they did rerun it on TV, it would be played at the most random time. As a kid, there were many, many, many Halloweens that I was sick. I was stuck inside, kind of sick like I am right now. I have a sinus congestion thing going on. Anyways, you don't want to hear that. But when I was younger, I was sick. And I missed out on a couple of Halloweens, and there was nothing better than just sitting on the couch and watching Charlie Brown. And if you guys aren't aware, we're playing a game on this channel. Check out the link for this video right here. Right now there is one person in the lead, and there is also one gnome still left unfound in a video from this week. So you guys put your glasses on, rest your eyes, whatever you have to do, get ready, because there's going to be more gnomes in every video as we get closer to Halloween. I don't know, I just figured I'd do something fun for the channel, guys. I wanted to give something back to you and play a game at the same time. So if you guys enjoy this, let me know down below. I will see everybody tomorrow. Peace!